He's one of the most beloved actors in Hollywood, but not for the reasons you'd expect. While most celebrities flaunt their wealth with super yachts and diamond-studded wardrobes, Keanu Reeves does the exact opposite. So, how does the man worth over $380 million really spend his fortune? Buckle up. This is a story about motorcycles, generosity, and the quiet luxury of being Keanu Reeves. Let's start with a moment in time, 2003. The Matrix Reloaded had just hit theaters, grossing over $739 million worldwide. Keanu's paycheck? Around $15 million up front, plus tens of millions more in back-end deals. And what did Keanu do with all that money? He gave away a huge chunk of it. Reports suggest he handed out over $75 million to the crew working on the Matrix sequels, especially the special effects and costume teams, who he believed were the real heroes behind the scenes. Think about that for a second. How many actors hand out tens of millions to people behind the camera? This wasn't a one-time thing. Keanu's generosity is legendary in Hollywood, and very real. Now, if you know anything about Keanu, you know this. The man loves motorcycles. He doesn't just ride them, he builds them. In 2011, Keanu co-founded Arch Motorcycle Company, a boutique manufacturer of custom high-end bikes that cost anywhere from $85,000 to $150,000. But this isn't just a vanity project. Keanu is deeply involved, from the design to the engineering, and yes, he owns several of his own creations. His garage includes a collection that would make any gearhead jealous. Norton Commandos, Ducatis, BMWs. It's like a luxury museum on two wheels. Now, you might expect someone worth $380 million to own a dozen mansions scattered across the globe. Not Keanu. He owns a relatively modest home in the Hollywood Hills, purchased in 2003 for $5 million. It's sleek, minimalistic, and has a spectacular view. But it's not a palace by celebrity standards. And for years before that, Keanu lived in hotels and rented small apartments, not because he couldn't afford more, but because he just didn't care about showing off. Imagine seeing John Wick riding the subway. In New York, that happens, and it's not a stunt. Keanu takes public transportation, frequently. And yes, he gives up his seat for others. He's also been spotted waiting in line at the airport like everyone else. No entourage, no private jet, no VIP lounges. He flies commercial, travels light, and carries his own bags. What most people don't know is that Keanu Reeves has been running a private charitable foundation for decades. The foundation supports causes like cancer research and children's hospitals. But Keanu never put his name on it. In his words, "I don't like to attach my name to it, I just let the foundation do what it does." This isn't just for show. His sister Kim battled leukemia for years, and Keanu reportedly spent millions on her treatment and recovery. He also donates to causes like Stand Up to Cancer, PETA, and Sick Kids Foundation in Toronto. You won't catch Keanu rocking $10,000 outfits. In fact, he's often seen in plain black jeans, worn-in boots, and a simple blazer. His look is timeless, practical, and completely under the radar. When he does spend, it's often on things with deep personal meaning, like first edition books. He's known to have a small collection, or quality guitars, including a Fender Stratocaster gifted to him by a fan. Keanu isn't chasing money with every film. Instead, he often takes pay cuts to help movies get made, like in The Devil's Advocate, where he reportedly slashed his fee so the studio could afford Al Pacino. And he doesn't splurge on flashy investments like NFTs or super yachts. Instead, he invests in people and long-term creative projects, like his comic book series, Berserker, which is now being adapted for Netflix. He's also producing and writing, proving he's more than just a movie star. He's an artist, entrepreneur, and thinker. So what does a typical day in the life of a man worth $380 million look like? It might start with a quiet morning ride on one of his motorcycles. Maybe he grabs a coffee at a small local cafe, chats with fans, reads a script, or stops by his company's garage to test a new engine. No fleet of assistants, no bodyguards. Just Keanu, living his life with intention, curiosity, and grace. In a world obsessed with wealth and status, Keanu Reeves is the ultimate contradiction. A multimillionaire who lives like a regular guy. He's proof that you can have it all, and still choose kindness over excess, generosity over vanity, and authenticity over fame. So the next time you wonder how a Hollywood superstar spends his millions, remember this: Keanu doesn't spend to impress. He spends to live, and that's what makes him priceless. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next one.